You know, warfare has changed in large part because of technology. Edward Snowden says that he can pretty much wiretap anyone, even the President of the United States, if he were to have the email. How comfortable are you with that?
Well, it is what it is. We've got one of the big challenges of our 21st century world will be to try to provide some right to privacy without being naive about the need to use our ability to track electronic communications to try to prevent terrible things from happening in the United States and around the world. What Snowden says, I don't think really a lot of the things he said to me don't register with this PRISM program, which is designed to track communications overseas. And years ago, there was a court ruling which said that if you sent a letter to the Postal Service, back when snail mail was the reality for most of us, you couldn't open that letter without a court order showing probable cause and doing all that. You had a right to privacy to the contents of your letter. But you had already waived that right by writing an address and a name on it and putting it your return address, and it was okay for law enforcement officials to note who sent a letter and to whom they sent it. That's essentially what most of these government programs are now trying to do in monitoring telecommunications and email. And I think that the head of the NSA said it correctly yesterday. They have prevented a very large number of harmful actions. Now, and there probably will be someday, when there is the slightest evidence that anybody has penetrated the meat of the conversations, the meat of the emails, for political, financial, or personal advantage and destroyed someone's personal privacy, then I think there ought to be action to protect that. And I think the people that are doing this need to be thinking all the time about how we can create certain walls of privacy. But you can't really claim the benefits of all this technological stuff and put everything you've got in emails and expect, given the nature of the technology, to have the same measure of privacy we had when we didn't have to do that.
Yeah. So you have to expect or anticipate.
You have to anticipate. Yeah, and people should be, if they're worried about it, they ought to be careful what they put on emails. But but I do think there will be a real effort to construct more privacy protections to the substance of the communications that don't have anything to do with national security or breaking the law. I think that the courts, the FISA courts, have done a pretty good job of approving specific piercing of the walls of privacy of communications in electronics, for example, and requiring in advance at least enough evidence to know that there's probable cause to believe a terrorist act or some other hugely criminal activity is about to occur. But I think we're in the middle of something that's emerging, and I think we're going to have to deal with it as we go along. And we think the right to privacy has been infringed too much with no corresponding benefit to our security. Then we'll have to construct some sort of protective cover for that. But I don't see any alternative to trying to attract all these groups around the world that are trying to basically wreck the ordinary operations of life in America or kill a lot of people. And so far, I'm not persuaded that they've done more harm than good.